and work your way up, because any block further down is just going to back up. So it does make a difference on a high tide, and we've had some high tides, so it doesn't get away from the Rife.
Correct. So my question then is really probably to the Chair, Peter, is can we raise this again with the Environmental Agency, perhaps in May, after we've had the April rains, and raise it again to say what work is planned to ensure that the Rife is cleared down to the sea, because that's what needs to change.
By all means, there's nothing to stop you communicating with the Environment Agency.
No, we have, as an advert, the annual parish meeting will feature a lady who will be talking about the flood streams and the like, flood streams in the sense of rights and the like. So come along to that and ask her questions too. We are very sensitive about the problem.
It's open to the parish council, any parish council, to ask questions like that. I mean, just do it.
Will we get notified of what that is exactly?
Pardon?
Will we get notified of what that is, the grant is, how to access it, etc.?
Oh, sure.
Oh, yes,
yeah,
yes.
Sure. Yeah, we did very well last time round.
It's very good.
Well,
And as you will see, there's work being done at Willow Glen at the moment to try and make that the flow better. So it's a continuing struggle in Sidlesham to keep everything flowing, so to speak.
But the figure I mentioned, £400,000 from Smart funds, that is there in the budget. It was there last year and 10 years before that. And that is for things which are not necessarily environment related. That is for localised problems. And the money is right at the parish council usually itself, and the money, and with guidance from the county council to reinforce rivers are falling, or not rivers, but let's not use that word as environment related, when ditches are falling in, or there's roots growing, or whatever it is. That's what that money's for.
I can assure you all, President, that we have a very good contact, not only with WFCC through Peter, but also with the Environment Agency. In fact, we were due to have a meeting with some of the Environment Agency yesterday, who's had to be put back because we've got other cases of tidal flooding. So, it is a constant subject.
But this watershed, then awards are made from £1,000 to £25,000, and there's no limit. But it has to satisfy certain criteria, which is that afterwards the beneficiaries will look after it.
Okay. Anybody else got any questions at the moment?
Where does the Rife actually start? Down the lane, down the highway? Where does the Environment Agency take over because it's become a river?
Where it appears.
It's there, the main river.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Where it appears. Which is somewhere near Bremere, isn't it?
I think, Bremere is
Or further upstream.
further up.
And I believe it's called the Bremere Rife and not the King.
Bremere Rife,
It keeps
yes.
getting referred to as the King Rife.
There are several rights, aren't there? There's one on the eastern side.
So if the word is Rife is mentioned, that becomes in effect like the main river?
Well, it has been declared main river. I mean, it didn't make any difference to it. It was still the Rife. I mean, it was that's the designation. But it would be from, as Peter says, or somebody said, wherever it rises. It goes round the corner and down Lapson's Lane. It goes under. There's a pond on the other side of the road. I don't know whether it comes in from there. I lived there for many, many years, but I don't know where it actually came from beforehand.
Mr. Chairman, as part of our highly little grouping on the chat site thing, Nick has done an awful lot of work in which he mentions Operation Watershed, Flow Project, Manhood Peninsula Surface Water Plan, SWMP. He mentions flow, he mentions all the 2012, 2013 problems. Do we need to reuse? Can I send this to you and can we include it in the minutes as an addendum to this topic? Because I think it would be...
Well, we will circulate. I don't think it's appropriate to put it as a minute to this. But we will send it. I'd join it. Yeah, sure.
All right. It seems a shame that it sits in my phone and then doesn't go anywhere else except to these people over here.
It's a send
We can put it on
last
the
time.
website, certainly, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Paul Bedford was much involved with
Paul
the
Bedford, yes.
flood.
Yes.
It was a send
Well,
last time.
he's still the head of what is called Swish,
Yes.
which is the
Yeah, but the
Manhood.
just to do with the Operation Watershed, I think we had a group formed there.
We did.
With
We did.
lots and-
Very successful
It
group.
was nothing to do with.
Well,
But you've got to keep at it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Don't stand them down, keep going.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else for Peter?
Just that one opposite the house called Bremere, confusingly opposite the SO station. I am pursuing that again.
It's all right, I know. We've had a good dialogue between you, Martin and yourself. Yeah, it's a problem.
I didn't raise it with Alison Peter, but we've also had the same problems that we always have at the pumping station next to Zara, which services Rotten
Yeah.
Road, Fletcher's Lane, and probably what's the other one, Blockton as well. And again, we've had some serious backup with sewage in that area again, so please could you add it to
Well,
your...
it gets me into a whole different ballgame with southern water, and they're much more difficult to deal with. But I don't give up.
Thank you. If you could, it would be really appreciated. Thank you.
Could you put me in contact with them at our treatment plant? Because I get various questions asked about the treatment plant at Sidlesham, and I really don't know who the best person to
I think I've
contact.
answered them.
I don't want to bug you with that. You know,
I think they've increased the capacity, but
Yeah, I know.
for several years to come, they have. And that's the answer. They've done that.
One last remark. I had another parishioner that wrote to me saying, shouldn't we look at a Section 19 situation?
What is that?
What's in section 19, Chairman?
Well, that's what I want to find out. Apparently it's a legislation regarding this sort of things.
Okay.
What, do you mean flooding or sewage?
Yeah, flooding, apparently.
Well,
Can I ask what might be a silly question? When we see all these tankers parked outside the pumping stations in various locations, are they pumping out
Yes.
yes.
or are they
They're
They are.
Taking it out and driving to the sewage and tipping it in there.
When it rains that hard, and the rainwater then gets, and the groundwater gets into the sewage system, in order to prevent it from getting into the pipe, they pump it out, and they pump it out day and night, and sometimes those tankers are in relays to do it. And so, although it might be unsightly, that's what they're there for. And so a bigger program, which will go on for several years, the southern water is lining the inside of the sewers. And they do that through a very clever means. They've done it in Itchenham and Burton for the pumping station over there. And they're going to do it in a bigger area. Here on the Manhood Peninsula, which all they're lying, that's the reason, which is a method of lining the pipes without actually taking the pipes up. It's, you force through a flexible pipe, and then when it's in, it gets heated with hot water and it becomes solid. And that's basically the principle, to prevent the infiltration of groundwater. It won't stop it altogether, but it will reduce it greatly. And so that will come, but that is done on the basis of the priority and available funds, but that is one of the things that they are doing in order to stop this business of the sewers, groundwater infiltrating into the extent that they do when there's high water. So that's what that's about. Indeed, the short answer is yes, they're taking it away.
Of course,
and they take it to, sometimes to Sidlesham, sometimes they take it all the way to Chichester, sometimes they take it to the big that happens.
Sort of expanding that a little bit with the noticeable increase in housing in the Chichester and South Chichester district. What provision is being made for increasing sewage capacity?
That's what they have question they have to answer, which they have to deal with. And so when there's any development over, I don't know, I forget the number, 20-ish, that sort of size, anything over that, they have to answer the question whether it can be accommodated. Now, the law is that they can't say we can't accommodate it.
That's the problem.
But they're given time to make the adjustments, and they can get monies out of the budget to do that. So it's a long process. So while the building of a major site is in progress, 2-3 years, that's when they've got to make these adjustments, which normally consist of increasing the pump capacity. That's what I've got out of them. Sometimes there's an increased pipe, which they had to do down in Bradford years ago, but usually it's increasing the pump capacity. So that's dealing with the additional hazards. And so therefore, part of your question, the treatment plant that has its capacity increased with an increase in housing calculated into that. up to 2029, I think they said. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
I think it's relevant just to remind everybody that if their house is quite old, the chances are that the rainwater off the roof goes into the sewage
Yeah.
rather than down to
Yeah, that's a good point. And modern building, that's not allowed anymore.
Exactly,
It has to be separated.
they have some
And they have to have a subsystem, and they have to create a pond and a storage area.
But it hasn't been very long ago since that rule came in, Peter, has it? Because when Bremere
Hang
Lane,
on, let Peter finish.
But on older houses, they mix, and that is, to change that really would require intervention with the owner of the house, and the owner said, why should I have to do that? So that's a very slow thing, and that's a part of gradually newer houses being built and older houses being taken down or being remodeled. But so, and that's been like that, I don't know, 15, 16 years or so, not very long, as you say. But you're quite right, Adrian, that is part of the problem. The bigger problem is infiltration into the pipe. The pipes are usually okay, it's the joins are, because we get the heave and the sway of the ground, and it works the joints loose. And that's where, so they first of all have a sort of ultrasonic device, which they push down lengths, 100 metres at a time between manholes, which they push down the pipe when they're dry, and the ultrasound then tells them where the leaks are. And so they then know where to those were relining. For me, it's lining because they're not lined before, but lining the pipes. So that's the first survey. And all very slow process doing all of that. Takes a year or two to do it.
Okay.
when I really interrupted, sorry, just hold on a tick. When Bremere Lane was built, I specifically asked everybody I could possibly ask that rainwater did not go into the ditches. And this is not the major problem with old houses. A lot of old houses, the drainage was fine. We haven't had that much new housing, but the new housing that has been done up to whenever that change in the law that Peter's talking about came in, but it certainly was not the law when Bremere Lane was built in 2003. And there were big houses with big garages, and all that water was going into the sewer. And that made it worse then, and that's when that's
Okay.
2010.
I think last question.
So,
You've got
just to answer the query on section 19, which is the Flood and Water Management Act 2010, section 19 alludes to on becoming aware of a flood in its area, the lead local flood authority, which would be either EA or Southern.
It's the county council as well, but in answer to that, that's why we have a flood management plan.
Okay. So that manager,
That's
whoever is the manager of that,
Yeah,
we
that's
can
fine.
request a section 19, which is what you've been told, which is an investigation by those bodies to consider where it's necessary to investigate whether they've taken sufficient relevant flood management functions and whether they have exercised or are proposing to exercise those functions in response to the flood. So this is follow-up activity.
Well, it's also working aid, and that is why there is a flood prevention plan, and that exists, it's online.
I'm sure this subject will come up frequently.
And it'll get refreshed on that.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Okay.
we're on board with that. I didn't know it's called section 19, but we have
It's an investigation into what's happened.
Okay, I said last question.
Yes, again. Is there...
Peter's got to go for the verdict.
No, okay. Sorry, Vic, I was going to ask another question about the parish council's responsibility. You're free to go, so.
Thank you.
But
Thank you very much
do
indeed.
pursue
We haven't talked about
agency yourselves as well.
we haven't talked about potholes, so we're okay.
They're being dealt with.
They are being dealt with.
In fact, in Hand Road, that's the next thing that I'm doing.
Correct.
Because of the damage, because of the flooding, that got used heavily, more heavily than it's, and that is the next thing they're also doing.
Yeah.
Looking at preparing outside the normal programme.
Yeah, we've got an inspection of Church Farm Lane coming up soonish.
Yeah.
So
So
that's all in hand.
Perhaps, actually, Peter could have. There was something I read about a ditch monitor, effectively, for the parish. No, seriously, in a report, one of the parishes had effectively a ditch monitor.
Hang on, sorry, you're not going yet.
And I just wondered if you had any knowledge of other parishes having people that go around and check that people are performing their riparian duties, essentially.
I think that's people with riparian duties, yes.
I would suggest
Good to see you.
David, I was just there, that was actually be the parish.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, volunteer.
A volunteer, yes.
Yes, on the council.
Okay. Right,
You
very
can see
good.
my house, my mum.
Hang on, hang on.
If there's any further updates on any of the activities, I know Nick's note about responsibilities and Peter mentioned some of the actions that are being taken, for example, the downward a bit closer to Keenor Lane or whatever. Is there a way that maybe that could come back here?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, each month and
Oh, yeah.
so we can understand what
Okay, I mean, the flooding and water in general is a frequent subject here, I assure you. And I said we had this programme Watershed, and we did a fantastic amount of work to clean things up. But there are people, the Manhood Wildlife is doing improvement on Willow Glen not quite as we speak, but they were certainly there yesterday to try and improve. It is very, very important that we take this responsibility very seriously.
Absolutely. I'm just wondering if we have, some of my neighbours are here as well, just, they can then check on the minutes, come to the meeting, and then know what other actions
Yeah.
we take. That was really...
I mean, you're very quiet in that corner over there. Have we answered your questions, or
We came with no questions, just to listen.
you just want to listen?
Yes,
Okay.
thank
Are
you.
you happy that we're doing what we can?
You are very happy you're doing what you can.
We won't need minutes because Martin will tell everybody in the room.
You know, Martha's time out on actually on television.
Yes, starring on the television.
Okay. Okay, let's move on. Obviously, Donna's not making it again. What I wanted to say, by the way, I don't know if I'm totally in agreement with what Peter said about the decommission programme. The decision about the unitary authority is due to be given in March. There was an all parishes meeting, you all had a copy of the slides. An indication by the government of whether we are in West Sussex going to one unitary authority or two in West Sussex. I thought the elections had been put back to 27.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah?
yeah.
And the new authorities
Yeah.
will take their places in 28. But what it does mean for councillors, and this is for all of us, but obviously particularly councillors, it is apparent that the elections in 27 will elect councillors for a further 5 years. They're looking to tie that in with the mayoral cycle. Yeah, okay. Next year, they are going to reveal details of what they call neighbourhood working. Now, I don't know whether this is the way they're going to try and get parish councils to work together to form units to do what I call the less serious jobs, but still very important jobs, like the flood things, for example. But watch this space. There's a lot yet to be devolved and divulged, actually, on this whole question of the change of structure.
If I could just add to that, Peter is very, as a county council, very wedded into the idea of one huge unitary authority, which, to my view, is county council, is West Sussex County Council Mark II.
Of course.
Whereas the district council has gone for a two unitary option, I believe. So that will have to be worked out. But Adrian and I were at a discussion yesterday in Cheshire District Council where I asked a question about neighbourhood plans and someone else asked the same question in the other way round. That once this district council is abolished, either it's useless having had a neighbourhood plan or it's a good idea to have a neighbourhood plan because there'll be no other plan in place apart from the existing local plan, which how much has that got? How long has that got to go? Not till 39 if the
There's a very
authority
good question
is
about
demolished.
whether the existing local plan, which has just been published
Just been
in
published
August,
to 39.
is basically on the verge of becoming redundant.
Exactly, that was really what we were getting at.
And of
That
course,
maybe the neighbourhood plan would be the only protection we've got left for local